This program is brought to you by generous donations from the community and sponsored by Stifel Financial.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Forbes, your host for tonight's edition of Nevada County Now. The Southern California fires are a stark reminder that being prepared for fire is something we must plan for, from scanning your documents and having a plan to doing as much property clearing as we can do. Don't wait until fire season. Plan and take action now. Don't go away. We'll be right back for a short sponsor break.
Thank you to Stifel Financial, proudly helping individuals pursue financial goals, businesses and organizations raise and protect capital, and communities offer a higher quality of life. To learn more, visit www.stifel.com.
Like many counties, states, and even countries, Nevada County deployed resources to Southern California. Experienced teams from the Higgins Fire Protection District, Brush 23, Ophir Hill Fire, Engine 523, Penn Valley Fire Protection District, Brush 44, Nevada County Consolidated Fire Department, Brush 89, North San Juan Fire Protection District, Engine 6168, and Grass Valley Fire Department, OES Engine 4609, all headed south to help. In addition, the Robinson's Emergency Services crew, along with drivers headed south to the Pasadena Rose Bowl Command Center with 2 command trailers and support equipment. The emergency service crew is staying in Southern California with the command trailers while the drivers are heading back home after a well-deserved night of rest. The drivers are headed home to resume their normal duties and preparing to move more support south if called. All of the men and women helping where needed, be it right here in our community or another example of what makes Nevada County an amazing place. It was busy this past week in regards to law enforcement. On the evening of January 7th, a man and woman were arrested and later booked into Wayne Brown Correctional Facility after they were caught in the act of breaking into a private residence. While on routine patrol in Nevada County on January 7th, a vigilant deputy observed what appeared to be a burglary in progress at a private residence on the 13,000 block of Sadie D. Drive in Nevada City. Additional deputies responded to the residence to assist. One suspect, identified as Everett Shane Nelson, 53, of Nevada City, was intercepted at the front door and detained. The second suspect, identified as Anna Rochelle Newman, 36, of Grass Valley, was determined to be inside the residence. She exited the residence after receiving verbal commands and was detained without incident. A search of the residence by the deputies and K-9 regs revealed no further suspects. The homeowners were not present for the incident. Nelson was arrested for second-degree burglary and possession of unlawful paraphernalia. Newman was arrested for second-degree burglary, false personation of another, carrying a switchblade knife, possession of unlawful paraphernalia, and for her 2 outstanding felony no-bail warrants out of Petaluma and Santa Rosa. Residents who see suspicious activity in their neighborhoods are encouraged to call 911. 2 wanted fugitives were arrested early Thursday morning after a Nevada County Sheriff's officer conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle with expired registration and false tags on the Rough and Ready Highway near Harvest Lane at approximately 1:15 a.m. The male driver, identified as 40-year-old Michael Joseph Gunter of Portland, Oregon, and a female passenger, identified as Laura Ashley Adams, age 35, of Auburn, were discovered to be wanted in the state of Nevada on felony warrants. Upon their arrest, a search of the vehicle revealed numerous items of suspected stolen property, including mail and identification documents belonging to at least 15 other people, burglary tools, including shaved keys, and approximately 20 grams of meth. The investigation into the stolen property and mail theft remains active and ongoing, with identification and contact of victims underway. Gunter and Adams were booked into the Wayne Brown Correctional Facility on charges of possession of stolen property, possession of burglary tools, identity theft, transportation, sale of meth, possession of drug paraphernalia, and their warrants from the state of Nevada. And what would have been a normal Friday quickly took a wild turn. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call at 10:30 a.m. of an unknown device found in the scrap metal area of the McCourtney transfer station. Out of an abundance of caution, the transfer station was evacuated and for a time closed to the public. People were asked to avoid the area. At 12:39, it was reported that support from Beale Air Force Base's Explosive Ordnance Disposal Team was called in to investigate the device, which was confirmed to be live mortar. Beale Air Force Base safely removed the mortar, which will be detonated off-site. There were no injuries in this process. There is no report at this time as to how a live mortar ended up in the scrap pile. Well, let's finish tonight's stories with some good news. This past July, the City of Grass Valley awarded Sierra Harvest and Interfaith Food Ministry Measure E funding for a planning grant to explore potential uses for portions of DeVere Mautino Park. The plan is a community food campus, a space to grow inclusive gardens, enhance food access, inspire community learning, and strengthen social connections. The community is invited to join the planners in a community listening session where they can learn more about the project and share ideas. The community's voice is essential to building a healthier, more connected community. The sessions will take place at Peace Lutheran Church, 828 West Main Street, Grass Valley, on Wednesday, January 15th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., Saturday, January 18th, 3 to 5 p.m. You can learn more at gvfoodcampus.org. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
From the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, a new hero will emerge. One who is ready. One who makes sure their friends and family are set. And has the power to go at a moment's notice. This fire season, you're the hero. We are Ready Nevada County.
Hi.
Our next guest serves as Nevada County Superintendent of Schools. He was appointed to the position in August of 2017 and subsequently elected in 2018 and 2022. Prior to that, he served as the superintendent principal at the Clear Creek Elementary School District in Nevada County for 16 years. He was a middle school teacher for 9 years previous to that. And during his tenure at Clear Creek School, he led the district in achieving the top academics testing scores in Nevada County. Please help me welcome Scott Lay, Nevada County Superintendent of Schools. Welcome.
Well, thanks, Lynn.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Glad to be here. Talk about schools.
Yeah, how's the new year starting out for Nevada County schools?
Quiet, which is good.
Yeah.
That means everybody's back in and working on educating our students.
Awesome.
So things are first week back.
So we want to talk about some pressing issues as far as teacher compensation, teachers leaving the profession. But I thought I'd start out our conversation by asking you, how has the district changed from when you first got here in 2017 to 2025? Yeah.
Well, the county, we have 9 school districts. We have 5 independent charters.
A lot.
And a various number of charters under school districts. Things were going well, and then we had that thing called COVID, and that little blip back in 2020 and 2021, and we're still feeling a little of those after effects. We've put a lot of money into mental health with the help of the state and federal governments. We also have a lot going in teacher training, working with our students on mitigating learning loss. And we're really starting to see the benefits of that as we move into 2025. So things are good in the county. Our population, we're fairly stable. We're not seeing a decrease like we saw for many years. During COVID, I guess that was another time we had a lot of students leave the county, and that was not only in Nevada County, that was across the state of California, where for the first time we saw a dip in student attendance in California.
Right.
So we're getting numbers back, which is good. People seem to be doing much better now, but we're still keeping an eye on that.
Sure, and I'm sure that the pressure from the COVID restraints and strains, I should say, was hard on the teachers, made it very, very hard on the teachers. So can you talk about the state of the teachers' compensation, teachers' profession here in Nevada County? Why are teachers leaving? Where are they going? What are you doing?
It's a multifaceted reasons for that. The teaching profession has changed a little bit after COVID. People, not only in education, but across all sectors, really kind of looked at their life of where they wanted to be, and we saw a lot of people changing a lot of jobs. So right now, we are seeing shortages in teachers. You see it more in the rural counties than you do urban counties. Other things that play into factor are lack of housing or lack of affordable housing.
Right.
You also have fire insurance.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes it's really hard to get, and broadband access. So there's a lot of factors that play into people coming up. We've had candidates that come up and a spouse couldn't find a job. So then they withdrew back to a more urban area. So there's a lot of things that go on here. You know, you have three basic credentials. You have a multiple subject credential, which usually goes to your elementary schools, where one teacher teaches everything. A single subject, that's more of your high school or upper middle school.
Specialty.
That's where they focus on a math or history. And then you have a specialist credential, and that's for the other areas like in special education. When we get to those more technical jobs, that's where we're seeing more of a shortage. And it's harder to find people to come up and take those positions.
You know, it's interesting. It just occurred to me that it's sort of parallel to what's going on with the medical infrastructure here as well, as far as specialists, doctors. I don't expect you to comment on that, but it just seems like there's an affinity
It's very
there.
similar. You're seeing people pulling away from that in the urban areas for a variety of reasons. But there's a lot of positions that do remain open for years. My colleagues in neighboring rural counties, they've had a nurse position open for 4 years.
Wow.
They can't find a nurse.
Right.
So those things happen. So it's tough. It means we have to be a little bit creative.
Yeah, recently a friend of mine started substitute teaching here. And he's really enjoying it,
Right.
and I'm wondering about your backup team. Are you getting enough substitute teachers?
We
to
do.
help
We
out?
have about 170 substitute teachers right now. But there are days where schools can't find a substitute teacher, and that's because a lot of our subs have their favorite school. For example, they'll go to Grass Valley schools, but
Right.
they don't want to drive to Nevada City School.
Right.
The further out you are, the tougher it is. So Twin
Right.
Ridges Elementary School District up in the Ridge, they have a hard time getting teachers. When you move into South County, Pleasant Ridge, they're competing with potentially higher salaries for substitute teachers in Placer County. So there are some other factors that come into that. But
Right.
one thing we've done in the county, we have raised our rates. Currently $204 for a full day of substitute teaching. We raised that $34 this year to try to draw those people in, to make it more appetizing to come
Sure.
in to our schools. With that, in my office, I have an administration credential specialist who works with people who want to come in and be substitute teachers. How can we streamline that process? Also working with our teachers coming in on how we can get their credentials. Do they have the right credential? Have they taken the right coursework? How do we help them jump through the hoops to become a teacher in our classrooms?
Let's talk about the teachers as far as compensation and such goes. Being a rural area, are we able to pay our teachers equal to teachers in an urban area? How do you deal with that? Do you think this has something to do with the sort of an exodus of teachers?
That one's hard to tell. We don't pay as well as you would get maybe in Yuba City or down in Roseville. There are higher salary schedules there. So that is one factor in it. but their budgets, they're much bigger budgets there. It's much more difficult for our districts to have that high level of funding for all, and that is not just for teachers. That's for custodians, bus drivers, administrators.
Right.
It's across the board. You know, you can take your salary here, and if you want to drive down to Roseville and spend 2 hours a day in your car, or Sacramento, you are going to get a higher salary across the board.
Right. So that was this is a peripheral question. If are there significant differences in teacher shortage issues across different regions? And you just address that,
And
of course, because the tax base is different. And
right. And with really the shortage of housing up here, of affordable housing, I should say. That is a big one up here. We hear a lot of people coming up here where they're first, if they're a single teacher, it's difficult to come up here, and if you can't find a house to buy, to rent a house, there's not a lot of rentals out there either, or apartments, so that is a factor.
Are there any interesting programs as far as recruitment goes that you hear in other industries that you're considering for
We've tried different things. Other counties, we've seen them bus people in from neighboring counties where it's a lot cheaper to live in. We haven't done that here in our county. We look at trying to offer personalized service to help those people come into our county, making sure they have a mentor to work with. Our schools are great places to work, a great environment to work. But that's kind of where it stopped right there.
Right.
Some districts out of our area have offered a bonus pay, like for those hard to get positions to encourage. That can be tricky because that has to be negotiated with unions. And so sometimes that goes down well and sometimes that doesn't. So it's not just so simple like, well, we need a science teacher, we're going to offer $5,000 signing bonus. You can't do that. That's a negotiable item. So it's a bigger picture.
Is teleteaching a thing?
Teleteaching is, in some positions, is a last resort. We do that for some of our specialist credentials. In my organization, we run oversee 2 statewide charter schools. And we've had to go, oddly enough, in the Bay Area to some teleteaching in the special education arena because we can't find teachers down there. In the Bay Area.
How does that work? You have an aide in the classroom
you have an
with
aide,
the children?
or you'll have a general education teacher in the classroom, and then they'll be on the TV and they'll interactive, not even the computer, so it's interactive. That works, but it doesn't work as well as when you've got a one-on-one, a real person in the classroom with that student. But and we're not the only ones that have had to go do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you for your work.
Yeah.
Best of luck with the rest of the school year.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll look forward to seeing more developments. I hope we can hang on to our teachers here. It's so important.
We've got a lot of great teachers here. We want to keep them here. We want to bring more in.
Absolutely. Good work.
Great. Thank you, Lynn.
Well, folks, thank you for watching this edition of Nevada County Now. If you would like to help contribute or write stories, appear on a show, or even become a host, please check out the details on our website at nevadacountymedia.org/NCN. This program is local news and information brought to you by locals. Remember to stay safe, take care of each other, and get out there and explore all this community has to offer. Good night.